So, I'm a really big fan of the Sing movies. If you couldn't tell. Wrong background. In case you couldn't tell. But yes, I, like many other people, unexpectedly fell in love with this simple little set of films. The infectious soundtrack, the likable characters, it just drew me in. And because I am so drawn to this film, I am setting out to attempt a video that's not really like anything else I've ever done before. For the next couple months, I am setting off to recreate 9 of the different outfits worn by the characters of the Sing movies. Now, because my sewing skills are only barely existent, I am going to have to rely mainly on several trips to Goodwill, what I own, and a little bit of creative crafting of both. Why even do this? Is it just one of those creative bugs where you see something and you're like, I have to make or build something with what I'm being inspired by? Is it my desire to feel more of a connection to these characters that I like so much? Is it just one of those obsessive things you get when you're on the autism spectrum? Or is it just because, like many, I'm just endlessly inspired by Makara Tours and her similar videos, which I am gleaming from more than a little. And in one of those videos, I do remember her saying this.
But if there's one thing I'd like you to take away from this video, it's this. Don't take yourself too seriously. If you struggle with embarrassment and worrying what other people think about you, it helps to purposefully put yourself in at least one embarrassing situation a week, and eventually you'll become desensitized to the sensation.
And that message of hers has always kind of stuck with me, so maybe that's as good a reason as any to be doing this. But regardless, that's what I'm setting off to do, and I'm taking you along with me. I can't promise it'll be perfect. Heck, the only outfit I've really ever created before this was my sister's dog's Halloween costume a couple years ago. I am venturing into uncharted territory. I'm no costumer. I'm just one Aspie who wants to do something a little extra with the movies I love so much. Let's go.
You nervous?
Are you kidding? I'm absolutely terrified.
Okay, so it's day 1, and I'm already a little behind. Sign of things to come? But that's mainly because my best friend David is coming to stay the night for a couple days. So I've been spending most of my morning, getting the guest room ready for him. Because I just care about that guy so much. Darn construction in my neighborhood right now. It's like they don't know that a masterpiece is being filmed right now. I mean, I assume. It's a large world. I'm sure a masterpiece is being filmed somewhere. Okay, one second. So basically, what outfit I need today has to be basically determined by which one can I put together the fastest. And for me, that answer's easy. Yeah, the reason that this one is easy is because I'm basically just recycling pieces of an outfit that I had for a Halloween costume a couple years back, which consists of this shirt. Dang, how do people throw things flat all the time? This shirt, which was just a normal green shirt from Hobby Lobby that I then cut stencils out of cardstock and then painted with fabric spray paint. Get that piece of lint. It isn't the most accurate since in the movie we can clearly see later that his shirt underneath is long-sleeved, but when you live in Louisiana, you can wear long-sleeve shirts 3 months out of the year, but those weeks of those months are very rarely consecutive. So, I put this shirt on, which, on its own, either makes me look like Green Flash or like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. But once I dig that leather jacket out of my closet that I only wear for special occasions, I'm now set to be Johnny. And one of my cadet caps, because I'm still me after all. When my best friend David showed up, we got in my car to head off to lunch. All right, on our way to Jason's.
Why you got a pot in your car?
It's not mine.
You mean the metal thing down there?
Oh, yeah, that's another thing I'm selling.
Rather you just smoke.
I thought the drive there would be more eventful, but there was actually very little to see.
Whoa! What?
Whoa.
What?
Once we arrived at Jason's, I had to get confirmation of what our order number was on camera, though I am not going to comment on it. And then I got the healthy choice of a salad, and we had a pretty good lunch. I then decided to reward myself for getting a healthy choice by getting not 1, but 2 ice cream cones, which I guess just undid the healthy choice. Oh, I almost tripped.
Yeah?
But I'm okay. You know why?
Why?
because I'm still standing.
I'm gonna push you in front of that truck.
Yeah, David likes to show his friendship in very specific ways. After making a couple more stops, we then went back to my house where we watched the original Avatar movie in preparation for the sequel coming out. Okay, so we just finished watching Avatar, first time since I saw it in theaters. Yeah, I definitely don't remember the movie feeling this long when I first saw it, so I guess my assessment is right that if I'm gonna see the sequel, it's definitely gonna be in theaters, where it's gonna be at its best. But now I want to take a couple moments for some thoughts on Johnny and this outfit. Johnny is probably my favorite. Definitely my favorite character of the group. Definitely performed my favorite song of the movie. I listen to I'm Still Standing sometimes whenever I'm jamming out, just heading to an event I like, so now I just associate the song with a good feeling, even more than I already did. And I always am a sucker for a good father-son story. The scene in the jail cell is pretty heartbreaking. Especially seeing that slight detail of Johnny's lip just kind of quivering. I can't help but feel for the guy. But yeah, Johnny's just got a very likable personality. He's kind of got like a tough-looking exterior, but from pretty much most of what we see of him, he's a pretty soft guy. I'd kill for those singing abilities and those piano skills. And I've seen enough polls online that have asked who would have won the contest had it actually remained a contest. And pretty much in every single one of those polls, I see Johnny taking the lead pretty easily. And I would agree with that too. I really thought we were going to see him and Ash move closer together. There's some subtle hints in the first movie that made me think, are they going to go into a romance eventually?
Ah, talk some sense into that boyfriend of yours.
Lance is an artist, but I wouldn't expect you to understand that.
You're right, I don't understand that at all.
And that didn't really happen. I think they maybe said one or two sentences to each other, if even that, in the entire movie, so I don't know. We both definitely know the pains of, driving lessons with your parents and how nightmarish those can be. And he does have his rough side with the fact that he was very nearly going to steal the prize money before he had a change of heart, but I think that change of heart is why he's such a popular character in general. People just sort of sense the lovability to this character. As far as outfits, well, weather turned a little warm, so I didn't wear the leather jacket as much as I probably would have normally. But as is, this has been a nice enough outfit. Now again, this was fabric painted, so it's not quite as soft as I would have liked it. No matter how much they tell you it's going to dry soft, it usually never does. But yeah, I could see myself wearing this outfit again. But yeah, Johnny's hands down my favorite character. I can't wait to see more of him in the future. You got any thoughts, comrade?
Honestly, I was impressed that Elton John's stepson was able to do good as the role.
Okay, so tomorrow, my best movie buddy Josh has the day off, so I'm gonna go over to his place so we can work in, one of our infamous triple features. And now I'm kind of just planning out some of the days of what I'm wearing where. So I'm like, what's appropriate for Josh's place? And the answer's obvious to me. Is it not obvious to you? It's not supposed to be. So, much like Eddie, Josh has his own place on his parents' property next to the pool. So, it kind of just seems appropriate. Wear it to the pool house. And for whatever reason, I became kind of fixated on this pool house and Sing for a while. How much, you ask? Oh, that's right. I forgot I took it apart when we needed to film my short film here. Yeah, so it turns out that this video is not the first time I've become creatively obsessed with something Sing related. A while back, I set about making a miniature replica of Eddie's pool house. At first, it was just the main living room that we see in the movie, before I eventually added onto it the kitchen that we vaguely see in Eddie's life coach. Before I eventually added a bathroom, which we never see but I assume has to exist, before adding a sunroom, which I'm almost positive does not exist at all. But I tried to be fairly accurate where it counted. I have to say, I really enjoyed having this ongoing craft project. Eddie, were you upset you weren't in Sing 2? But now to gather the pre-gathered supplies. First, I grabbed a yellow athletic shirt from Walmart and a green fabric marker, and then with a ruler and a yardstick, I, best as I could, traced lines up and down the shirt, so that it looked a little less like a plain yellow shirt and more like a pinstripe bumblebee, or maybe a springtime Hufflepuff. And if you're noticing that large green splotch at the bottom, yeah, I started with another fabric marker that bled a little bit too much, and I initially planned on just going to get a new shirt and starting over the next day, but I decided it really wasn't that big of a deal. Mainly because at that point my laziness outweighed my perfectionism. But aside from that splotch, I'm actually happy with how this turned out. Even though it's not there in the movie, I also traced around the collar just so it would give sort of a defining edge to where the lines ended. And then I sought to connect the front and back lines, which really highlighted how off I was. Next, I was able to find this red jacket at Goodwill, which makes me look like I'm one of those people that's got enough self-control to go jogging in the morning, but will be the basis for Eddie's red jacket. For those white lines going down the sleeves, I got out 3 evenly spaced pieces of masking tape, because I was not running into that marker bleeding problem again, and filled in the gaps with a white fabric marker. I realized it worked better if the ends were stretched tight so that the lines were straight, so I started to weigh the sleeve down to help keep it tight. Once I was done, I got the always satisfying moment of getting to peel the tape off. Some of the lines were a little faded, so I decided to go back over them a little bit with the fabric marker, being careful to stay within the lines. Next, for that collar, which makes it look a little bit more like a Letterman jacket, something I sadly never owned. I found this riveted knit fabric from Walmart for just $4, and I decided it was perfect. That is, until I noticed that it had a ring-shaped stain on it. So I went to pull out another section of the fabric, but that darn pesky stain just kept chasing me all around that fabric. I wonder if this is why it was only $4. Anyways, I did eventually find a spot that was large enough that didn't have a stain on it and cut that piece out. I cut this piece out so that it would fairly evenly fold over the back of the collar so it would be on the inside and outside. To help with this process, I decided to iron the edges so that it had a tendency to fold over, and then I glued that in place with some fabric glue, weighting it down as I went. One weight just did not want to balance on it at all, so I just settled for leaning it kind of halfway on it. But just so it would have a little extra stability, I decided to sew either end down to the collar. But that's where I ran into a bit of an issue. The needle broke. Like maybe this is a common thing for people who sew all the time, but I'm just so baffled by this. It couldn't go through fabric. Yeah, I just hot glued the rest down. Next, to make that necklace of his, I first gathered a bunch of old beads I got from the Dollar Tree that I hadn't found much use for, and sharp-eyed viewers might notice that these aren't in fact the right colors, to which I say, I'm partially colorblind in real life, so, you know, that's my excuse. So I proceeded to skewer them up like fruit kebabs made of wild berries that could probably kill you, laid them over a box, and then spray painted them red. Next, to make a tassel, grab some embroidery floss, wrap it around an item of appropriate width. I used an old name tag from one of my previous jobs. I'm kind of surprised I still had that name tag lying around. Carefully slide that coil off, slip a piece of string through the loop, tie it tight. Before tying another knot, I put a straw through mine just so I could maintain that hole that I could thread it through. Tie a knot beneath it, and then cut the loop at the bottom. And you have your simple tassel. Then, once the beads are dry, you can slide them off the skewer so you now have farmcore-style candy canes for decoration around Christmas time, if you're going for that cottage-style aesthetic. Next, get some red twine, and find a necklace that you like the length of, and then measure out 2.5 times the length of that necklace onto the red twine. Knot a small loop at the very center of the twine, and then double it over, and start threading the 2 ends through the beads. Once you get about halfway, put the tassel on, finish off with the beads, and then at the end you tie a knot that can slip into the loop and act as your makeshift clasp. Finally, I found these pants, which, as you can probably tell by me calling them pants, are not shorts, and I had honestly planned on maybe cutting them down and then learning how to hem them, but then I found this pair of shorts, which admittedly did look a little big, but after one hot wash, they felt a little better, and they looked a little closer to what Eddie has. Oddly enough, this is the only outfit where I felt inclined to change what I was wearing on my feet, but I don't know, sandals with socks just felt more appropriate for Eddie. Anyways, after making some stops, I then headed on over to my friend Josh's. And along the way, I even saw a bumper sticker talking about how Eddie should be in the 3rd movie. Alright, let's see if once we get past the tree line, I can see if his dog Porter's waiting on the porch for me. Doesn't look like he is. Is he anywhere else around? You're not Porter, but I'll take it. Hey, Brucey boy. I'm so lucky I have such a welcoming committee every time I come here. Good boy. And now Leia's come to greet me too.
It's like Noah's Ark sometimes. Isn't it, boy?
And while in the pool house, I took some further shots trying to channel my inner Eddie. So much so that I actually picked up a video game controller like I had any idea what I was doing, because I sadly never graduated beyond a Super Nintendo when I was a kid. Which I'm honestly kind of glad for, because I already didn't have much of a life as a kid. If I had gotten obsessed with video games, I definitely never would have left my house. Well, I did eventually find my canine nephew Porter, and arguably just as important, I found my friend Josh. Alright, so I'm chilling in the pool house now with my best movie buddy, Josh. And now I'm just thinking, my thoughts on Eddie. Eddie's honestly one of my favorites, probably top 3 or 4 favorite characters. Because then I'm really sad that he wasn't in the second movie. But Mike wasn't, so it was kind of an even trade. I kind of like how him and Buster kind of have their balanced relationship, and even though I'm dressed like Eddie here, I feel like in our friendship, I feel like you're more the Eddie and I'm more the Buster Moon, for better or worse, whatever that entails.
No arguments here.
And yeah, like I said, I kind of just took to the whole pool house thing in the movie, to the point that any nights when I was just lying awake, not able to fall asleep, I'd just imagine what it would be like to be sleeping in that pool house or something. Just chilling with Buster and Eddie. But yeah, I do like Eddie's more kind of down-to-earthness with Buster. You know, it's the whole gas and the brakes thing. Eddie's the practical one, but I also like that he come and helps Buster out with the car wash, gives Buster a place to stay. Yeah, Eddie's a cool guy. I hope he kind of returns in Sing 3, if there is one. But yeah, that's, my thoughts on Eddie. Honestly, I might try to find an excuse to wear this kind of outfit more often. You got anything else you want to say?
One question. Who are you?
After clearing up who the stranger was in his house, we watched some more movies, and I think he had a pretty good time.
Honey? You motherfucker! You motherfucker!
He got over it pretty quickly. And all in all, was a pretty good evening. Okay, so on today's agenda, I am going to grab something to eat, going to work, going to grab something to eat again, because it'll be, 6 hours later. And then I'm going to a play that a friend of mine invited me to. So what Sing character's outfit is appropriate to wear to a theater? Well, I mean, all of them, I guess, technically. But the best one for putting on a show, even though I'm not the one putting on this show, I'm just attending, it's Buster Moon. Now, Buster's outfit consists of a white button-up shirt, a red bow tie, and blue pants with a matching jacket. Now, the shirt and the bow tie I already had, but the suit pieces actually turned out to be one of the harder searches I had. I just couldn't find any matching sets, none that fit anyways, so I had to resort to finding them separately. But the issue you have whenever you're partially colorblind is it's really hard to get them to match, even when you have a picture of them with you. I'm really glad I wasn't planning on having Eddie's yellow suit in this video. I'd have had a much harder time finding that. So I had to settle for these pants and this jacket, which was a little snug, but I am noticing that Buster almost never has his jacket buttoned up, so I figured it could work.
Some called him a visionary, a maverick. Sure, some folks said he was as crazy as he was stubborn, but I say wonder and magic don't come easy, pal. And oh, there would never be any doubt. The name Buster Moon would go down in entertainment history. And I should know. Because
I am not singing this.
What's not to like? You're a female and you're a teenager. This song was made for you.
Wow, it's like you can see inside my tiny teenage mind.
I know, right? You just gotta add some moves and a little bit of, hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe.
If you're gonna make a fool of yourself, you might as well have fun with it. Okay, so while these pants do fit a little bit better than some of the other ones I had, one downside I don't like to pants that fit like this. Now everyone's gonna know I'm one of those people that carries around a cell phone with them at all times. Wait, this isn't my cell phone. Where's my cell phone? Oh, right. And now I'm all set to go out on the town as Buster Moon. Wait, I'm going to work right now. I gotta change into this afterwards. Well, as I was leaving work, everyone wanted to comment on my outfit. I told some of them I was going to my second job. I was told I looked spiffy, though. Okay, so not 5 minutes after Filming that, I got in a minor fender bender. Everyone was okay, but my car did get scratched up just after I sunk dollars into repairs this past week. But I remember someone once saying that when you've hit rock bottom, there's only one place left to go, and that's up to the theater. Yeah, if you're wondering why I'm censoring the title of this show, it's because things actually did get worse. That show was actually pretty awful. I did run into my theater friend Drew, though, and that honestly did make the night better, because at least now I had someone to give awkward glances next to me, just to be like, this is bad, right? I'm not crazy, right? Misery likes company, I guess. One other small positive about the evening was, prior to the show, they were asking trivia questions about horror movies and giving out gift cards if you got one right. And yours truly even got one right. My question was about what animal of blood was dumped on Carrie White at her prom. And even though a lot of people's hands went up whenever the question was asked, the host actually chose me, saying, "You with the bow tie." So see, dressing like Buster Moon does lead to positive things. My thoughts on Buster Moon? Yeah, I actually like Buster a lot. I know there's a lot of people that, really don't. And, you know, it's funny, I have a friend of mine who listed all the because I was like, why? I was like, why do you hate Buster so much? And she listed all the reasons, and I was like, all the reasons you hate Buster Moon are the reasons I hate Sir Niles from Missing Link. Yeah, and I can't really explain that. I still love Buster, and I hate him, so... I don't really have an explanation for that. I don't know. I admire Buster's ambition. I love his optimism. You know, it's funny. I actually told my boss one day, who is also a very ambitious, optimistic guy. He has kids, and he's seen the movie Sing, and I kind of said, like, you remind me a little bit of Buster. And to my surprise, he actually said, you know, I thought the same thing. But yeah, I don't know. I can't bring myself to dislike Buster. He needs to be a bit more considerate at times. He's, I do love that he comes around on a lot of that stuff, you know, whether it's recognizing Ash's talents or, you know, being apologetic with the group and, I don't know, just above all, bringing everything together, recognizing people's potential. I'll put it this way. I would have rather had Buster as a director than some of the ones I've gotten over the past. And now it's on with the show! And just since I know some of y'all are wondering, no, I was not in the full Buster Moon getup whenever me and the other driver swapped information. I had the jacket off. I think I just had the bow tie on, kind of like how I did now. I told him I had just come from work, so I'm fairly certain he initially thought I was like a waiter at some fancy restaurant or something. But once I explained that, I also just found we were kind of in the moments of awkward silence waiting for the police to arrive, so I did just eventually tell him what exactly it is I'm doing, and sure enough, he's got kids who love the movie Sing, so maybe I'll be sending him this video when I'm done. That's a nice way to remember me.